Woman horrified to find on husband's laptop her husband had made an explicit video with a strange woman. At this moment, the woman was completely dumbfounded. She didn't understand why her husband betrayed her. However, just when she did not know what to do, there was a ringing at the door. Look at her husband brought back flowers and necklaces for her woman can only accept frankly. But the man did not realize that his wife's face was full of disgust. The next day he took out the video of their marriage. Listening to the promises her husband had made to her, Lisa realized it was all a lie. So she quickly came up with the perfect plan to kill her. The next day Lisa invited her husband to accompany her on a trip to the countryside. When they arrived at their destination, the woman lured Jack to the edge of the cliff under the guise of taking pictures. When her husband let his guard down, Lisa quietly raised her arm. But just as she pushed her husband over the edge, Lisa was interrupted by a woman asking for directions. As she watched her husband eagerly walk over to help, she knew the opportunity was wasted. But Lisa wouldn't give up because the journey had only just begun. Luckily, the next day, Lisa saw a perfect opportunity in her travels. She was going to kill her husband in front of everyone, without anyone suspecting a thing. Then she slipped into a kayak when no one was looking, and took out a dagger that she had prepared, and tampered with her husband's carabiner. When the people started boarding the boat, Lisa took her place. She watched as her husband put his foot in the buckle, and then she finally felt at ease. Soon the boat was rowing downstream, and the water began to swell. Suddenly a huge wave hit and Jack was knocked into the water. But Lisa never expected her husband to swim up. As she watched her husband's desperate pleas for help, Lisa had no choice but to help. But then suddenly a huge wave hit. Lisa was thrown into the river. When Lisa was in despair, she didn't realize it was her husband who saved her. To show her gratitude to Jack, Lisa showed her long-lost smile this night. But that didn't mean she would give up her revenge, because at night, as she was getting ready for bed, she heard Jack's secret phone call again, and that's when Lisa's heart broke. The next day, the two of them went hiking in the forest as planned. But the next moment, a sexy woman stopped Jack. Lisa got nervous. Looking at her husband's face, she knew that this woman must have some kind of secret with her husband. Soon Jack started to introduce the woman as his colleague. Just as Jack was about to leave with Lisa, she was surprised when Anna's boyfriend came over. After discussion, the four of them started the hike together. But when they passed a cable bridge, Lisa was surprised to find her husband was whispering to Anna. She surmised that Anna was the one who had rendezvoused with her husband. So Lisa approached Carl to ask him about his relationship with Anna. But it was clear that the man was in the dark about his girlfriend's condition. They thought they could fool everyone. They didn't know that Lisa had been investigating Anna for a long time. She's even been stalking her. They went all the way to the river. When they were resting, Anna proposed to swim in the water. Jack was indifferent on the surface, but in his heart, he couldn't stand the loneliness. He excused himself to go to the toilet, but he couldn't take his eyes off Anna, and that's when he fell into the puddle without looking. Before Lisa could react, Anna ran over to him. Due to the accident, they had to end the day's traveling in a hasty manner. The four of them went back to the hotel and had a few drinks. Then they went back to their rooms to rest, and Lisa finally took out her anger on her husband. Jack didn't want to argue with her anymore, so he grabbed his red jacket and left. He went to the pub and drank alone, but just as he was about to go back, he bumped into Anna in the corridor. Meanwhile, Lisa saw a text message from Anna on her husband's mobile phone. When she learned that Jack had betrayed her again, Lisa ran out of the house like a madwoman. She braved the rain and went to the place where they had agreed to meet. She saw her husband waiting alone on the edge of the cliff. Lisa took this opportunity to rush to her husband and pushed him off the cliff. When Lisa returned to the hotel, first, she washed away all the evidence. Then she deleted the message from her husband's mobile phone. She cleared the room of any traces of their argument. And finally, she posted a picture of her husband in love on social media. In order to cope with the police's questioning, Lisa started practicing her statement in the mirror. But then the doorbell rang. But when she opened the door, she found her supposedly dead husband alive. Terrified, Lisa ran into the bathroom. If that wasn't her husband yesterday, then who was it that she pushed down? But all she could do now was to adjust her emotions. Asked her husband where he went last night. Jack quickly explained that he had drunk too much, so he found a place to stay for the night. Lisa guessed that Anna was the one she'd pushed off the cliff yesterday. But why was she wearing her husband's clothes? Soon Lisa and Jack checked out of the hotel in a hurry. When they were ready to go to the next place, Carl was on the phone in a hurry. When the inquiry was over, it was confirmed that Anna had disappeared. The police began to organize a search for her. But when Lisa wanted to go to the edge of the cliff, suddenly, she heard that the rescue team had found an injured Anna. This made Lisa nervous. She's worried that when Anna wakes up, she'll only recognize herself as the killer. In order to get a better idea of Anna's condition, Lisa used the excuse that Carl was too emotional to drive. She took the opportunity to go with him to the hospital. But when they arrived at the hospital room, they learned that Anna had already passed away. Lisa's heart finally dropped. Soon the police began to investigate the accident. While Lisa was still worried about what might happen, her husband came to Jack in a state of panic and confessed his relationship with Anna. But he wasn't asking for Lisa's forgiveness. He wanted him to help him make a false statement because they had met that night, and Jack couldn't provide an alibi. He was worried that the police would find out about their relationship and suspect him. Lisa laughed when she heard this, but Lisa didn't refuse. Not only could she remove herself from suspicion, and she could use it to blackmail her husband. Under police questioning, they said they had been in the room that night. Because of this incident, they had to end their trip early to attend Anna's memorial service. But then Jack received a message that the police had deduced that the girl hadn't been an accident. She was probably murdered, and Lisa was completely baffled. In order to get rid of the suspect, Lisa came up with another plan. So she asked Jack to tell her the details of the night. Jack thought Lisa was doing it for her own good. He told him everything about his history with Anna, but in addition addition to their computer emails. He brought Anna back to his house and gave her a key to the house. Lisa was furious, but now they had to destroy both pieces of evidence. So Jack sneaked into the office. He deleted all the emails from Anna's computer. Then, under the guise of visiting Carl, they found the key at Anna's house. But just when they thought they had done it, the police came looking for them. Since they had dined together in the pub, the police wanted to know more details, and Lisa acted very naturally. She said it was the first time she and Anna had met. On the contrary, her husband and the victim were colleagues, but she never mentioned her husband to her. The police didn't get any clues from the two, so they had to let them go home. However, on the second day, when the police accessed Anna's security camera, they saw Lisa on it by accident. Apparently she was hiding something from the police, but soon they found a new clue. The police identified Carl as a suspect. They found a large amount of cash in Anna's locker and an advert for a room for rent. Carl said the two were in love, but it wasn't Carl who Anna was planning to live with. Apparently, the men lied about it. On the other hand, Lisa was worried at home, but then the police came. When she learned that Carl had been arrested, Lisa wasn't surprised and provided details of what she had seen. He thought it was obvious that something was wrong with the relationship. He could see the resentment in Anna's behavior. It seemed that Carl had been possessive throughout. However, when the police asked Lisa about the footage from the surveillance cameras, Lisa was still certain that they had never met. The fact that they were in the same place was purely coincidental. The policewoman was puzzled, but had no proof. Just when she thought there must be some kind of relationship between the three of them, the partners had a new lead. They questioned the hotel staff again. They found out that Carl had failed to propose to Anna. Maybe that's why he killed her. But the man insists he didn't kill anyone. He says he won't say another word until his lawyer arrives. But the next thing he knew, he was on the phone to Lisa. Carl wanted to know what Anna had said to him the night of the drink. He thought it might prove his innocence, but instead of answering, Lisa hung up. The police were able to monitor the conversation. In the evening, Jack asked Lisa out to dinner. He confessed his mistakes. He hoped to get Lisa's forgiveness. He also hoped that they could have a child. Although this sounds ridiculous, but I didn't expect Lisa to agree to it. But Jack didn't know that this was part of Lisa's plan. Lisa soon found out that the woman her husband was cheating on her with wasn't Anna. It was her best friend. And that's when Lisa was devastated. She couldn't stand it anymore and broke up with Jack. But at that moment, Carl came over. Carl had hired a good lawyer to get him out on bail. But Carl didn't come over to thank him. He took out his pistol and questioned Lisa. He wanted to know what Anna had told her that night. As Carl got more and more excited, but Jack confessed to his relationship with Anna. At this moment, Carl was completely devastated. He knocked Jack out. Then he pushed Lisa to the ground. At the critical moment, Lisa touched a stone on the ground. Then she knocked him out. After the police investigation, Lisa was found guilty of self-defense. After all this, Jack thought he still loved Lisa. In order to prove his determination, he applied for a transfer from the company, hoping to make up with Lisa again. But Lisa thought the crisis was over. Now it's time for her to take revenge. So he secretly downloaded some content from his computer. The next day, he pretended to be a good wife and Jack was ready to leave, but they were stopped by the police. The police said they received an anonymous tip last night. Jack was dumbfounded until he saw the video on the computer, and Lisa was in disbelief. Jack was taken away for murder. Lisa confessed to perjury in tears, and said she was blackmailed by her husband. Lisa said she took a red dress and disappeared for the night. She didn't return until the next morning, dripping wet. Police later managed to find Jack's DNA on the coat Anna was wearing. He's facing over